Hey guys, I just finished building this sick-ass custom PC. I don't really know exactly what to call this theme, but it's psychedelic, it's trippy, it's blue, it's orange, and it looks sick. So if you want to see how I built this and come along for the ride, just keep watching this video. In the last video, I made a really sick Green Dragon gaming PC, but in the process, I really messed up this panel. Yeah, I was going for a really cool illuminated effect, and it turned out just looking like shit. So I've been losing sleep over it. I can't just leave this sitting here going to waste. We're gonna have to repair this panel and turn it into something beautiful with a sick new custom PC build. So you can see that the paint's all peeling. It didn't turn out how we wanted. The engraving just didn't turn out how we wanted. It didn't have the desired effect. We're gonna have to start over with this thing. I'm just gonna paint it pure white and start off with it as a blank slate. And then we'll put a cool design on it. It's a little windy, but that's okay. We're gonna paint into the sunset. Do you wanna know what the sickest part of owning a PC shop like this is? I get to shop at my own store and everything's free. Technically, check this out. A really sick 3060 Ti that we have. It's so cool that we have it out on display on one of these stands. I'm gonna use this to make a cool looking white, blue, and orange theme on this sick PC. For the CPU, we're gonna use a refurbished Ryzen 5700X. Really good value for money. We're gonna make this one a sick value build. For the RAM, we're gonna use 32 gigabytes of King Spec DDR4 RAM. I'm using it because it's cheap and it works. For storage, we're gonna use a Kingston NV3 PCI 4.0 NVMe SSD. These things are the best in the world. Kingston, I love you. Thank you for supporting Alexandria Customs. If you ever need an SSD, you better buy it from Kingston. If you buy an SSD from someone else, I'm gonna find out. And you're not gonna like what happens when I find out. Now for the motherboard reveal. Asus Prime B550 MA Wi-Fi 2. Because the B550 MA Wi-Fi 1 is a piece of shit. For the CPU cooler, I'm gonna use a Thermalright Frozen Infinity 240 in white. Why? Because these are super sick and they're cheap. I highly recommend these because they're really good value. And for the power supply, we're gonna use a Thermaltake Smart 600 watt power supply because I'm smart. Spoiler alert. I have a few tricks up my sleeve to make sure this thing is especially sick. It includes 3D printing and of course, the sick blue and orange custom paint job. And here's some fan grills that I already printed off in the 3D printer in preparation for this build. Check it out. Alrighty. Let's start building this PC. Let me just open up about something really positive that happened to me today. I had a meeting with a gentleman named Craig at Kingston, and he basically just expressed admiration for me and my partner Brandon's work here and my partner Alex. They both work here building PCs. He just expressed that he loved seeing a young group of guys doing something they're passionate about. And Dave decided to do occasional giveaways, sponsorships, things like that with us as we grow. And the very nice gentleman, Craig, expressed that he wants to grow with us. And you know what? I thought that was really cool because we're up and coming. This video is not gonna get 1 million views, but I've been working very hard for years to build Alexandria Customs. And to have somebody actually take note while you're in the process, I'm gonna appreciate that for the rest of my life. So thank you, Craig at Kingston. If you have something that you're working on in your life, whether or not it has to do with PCs, just trust the process, keep going. I know it's not easy to pull things off this day and age, but you know what? If you work really hard, cool shit like that can happen to you too. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like the stencil is so far off the panel, it's diffusing down below, and we probably won't be able to see the pattern very well. What I think I'm going to do
to counteract that is use the orange as like a diffuse backdrop for a bolder pattern that'll do with blue by holding the spray can intensely right in the center of the pattern to hopefully make that appear a little more crisp and hopefully have a cool fade effect with the orange. I'm just going with the flow here. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, here comes the blue blast. Okay, so those panels are drying over there. Check out how this stencil looks on this side panel. That looks sick. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna do a dash of the blue as well, and we're gonna see how this thing looks.
Now it's time to install this sick-ass spoiler. So if I put it on top, that looks a little ridiculous, but if I sneak it down here, it makes it look almost like a transition from this original little spoiler that comes with the case, and I think that's gonna look quite cool. So what I'm gonna do is take this back off and drill some holes into this and screw it right onto the case. Probably not good to get metal shards all over the PC, but YOLO. So here I have the spoiler, the holes drilled, and I even have this little baby washer to put on top of the screw.
All right, here we go. Let's pop some blue on right in the middle, see what happens. Let's see how cool this ends up looking. All I can do now is just pray to God that this turns out looking cool. I think it will. Definitely will be unique. I'm so impatient, I'm just gonna pull this right now. Let's pull this up and see what it looks like underneath. Oh yeah, that looks sick. I'm happy with that. Definitely gonna be a unique looking one.
All that's left to do is to put it all back together and see what the finished result is. Just take a second to soak in this sick beast. Pretty cool, but we have to see what it's gonna look like with the panels on. Now they're still wet, but I'm gonna rip the stencils off anyways because I don't wanna wait. I'm just gonna put them right on, be careful not to mess up the paint, and see what this thing looks like. Okay, it's time for the big reveal. Taking all the tape off. Huh, so that's how it turned out. I think it's pretty cool. What it makes me think of is tie-dye. That's what I should call this PC, the tie-dye. I'm a tie-dye kind of guy. Time for the second panel reveal. Pull off the tape. There it is. Looks pretty sweet from the sides. Okay, so here's a good example of the creative process. I made these panels. I like how they turned out, but I found that the middle here was missing something. And I have this big bin of stickers because we sell stickers here for people's laptops and stuff to slap on their computers. And inside, look at what I found. Look at these stickers. Check this out. It was missing a little something. Look at that. Oh, oh, that's sick. Okay, and of course, the side panel itself. Look at this. That's trippy, man. I am going to let those panels dry a little bit more before I stick these on, but they're definitely going to be the finishing touch. I'm so glad I found these. We're going to allow this thing to install windows while that other panel dries, and then we'll set the RGB how we like it to blue and orange. And then this build is complete. Okay, it's time for the christening. There it is. Stick it on good. Hell yeah. So sick. Oh yeah. Next, let's put on this one. You know, I really didn't know how this PC was gonna turn out, but I just took it one step at a time, and I'm really pleased with what we have ended up with here. It's definitely a unique one. Definitely not gonna appeal to everybody, but it's gonna appeal to a particular type of person. I can say that for sure. I would buy this. There we go. Hell yeah, that's sick. I had a lot of fun doing this project. I hope you had a lot of fun watching. It feels really good to have fixed the failed project from last video and turn it into something unique that holds its own. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more sick PC content.